don't you think that MindsEye would have succeeded as an early access? They could have gotten away, whoops, I scrolled too far. They could have gotten away with charging $30. People would have been more apt to accept it. No, I just think like, I don't really see a situation in which MindsEye like pops off and becomes wildly successful. The pure concept of it never excited people that much. Like from the initial announcement, people were like, one, what is this game? Or two, they were saying something's off with it. It just looks weird. Like there's just something about it. Something about it, you know? So I just don't think like early access would have fixed it. Because the other thing you got to remember is that MindsEye is supposed to be a sub-release within the Everywhere platform. So the Everywhere platform was supposed to launch, and then MindsEye was going to be a game within that game that you could buy and play with your friends. And it was never really supposed to be a standalone release. In my humble opinion, the reason why it was released this way is because they ran out of money and they couldn't finish the Everywhere platform before releasing it. I think that's the thing. I think that they were planning to do like Web3 NFT crap with it because it just kind of stinks like that. And I think when that fell apart, they had no more investment coming in. And so it just kind of fell apart. You got to remember, they've been working on the Everywhere platform since 2018, they said. 2018. And they stopped talking about it like 2-3 years ago. They stopped doing updates. So I just think it's dead in the water. And I think that MindsEye was never actually... I just don't think it ever really stood a chance. You know, the concept, the idea wasn't good enough, you know, because if the idea and if the game itself was good enough to be a standalone game, that would have been the plan from the start, but it wasn't. The plan was a sub-release within another game, basically. And so trying to turn that into a standalone release is tough, and we saw the outcome of it, you know. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. I think, you know... They were trying to do the Fortnite thing without having Fortnite. You know, Fortnite could do the massive platform thing where they have basically like, you know, a racing game within it. They have the Lego game within it. They have the like Battle Royale, of course. They have all these different game modes, the concert mode. They have all these different game modes within Fortnite. But the only reason they could afford to do that is because they had Fortnite. It's because they had this Battle Royale game that printed billions of dollars for years. And Everywhere, Build a Rocket Boy, MindsEye, they were trying to do that without the Battle Royale. And that doesn't really work, you know, because it's very, very, very expensive. And I think the only way they were getting investment was by pitching it as this like next generation platform. In my opinion, I think the odds are pretty high. Part of the pitch was like Web3, was like NFT stuff to get like crypto bros and crypto firms investing in them. And then that fell apart. I think that that's what happened. So yeah, they were doing it backwards and trying to skip important steps. Yeah. And I mean, frankly, if they had billions of dollars of investment and they could just skip it, it could have worked probably. Like, I don't think it's the craziest thing I've ever heard about, but the other massive benefit, and this is what maybe couldn't work, the massive benefit of having the game Fortnite that you use to fund and build up this platform that has a bunch of other stuff is that Fortnite, the Battle Royale, like brings in millions of players every month. So even if 1% or 5% of those players choose to splinter off and play your Lego mode, splinter off and play your Rocket League mode, splinter off and go watch a concert from Post Malone in Fortnite, which I think is the thing, it works. And you have tons of players and tons of engagement on those other modes. If you don't have that massive game funneling people in though, you just don't have players. Like you spend $2 billion on a massive game that is this huge Everywhere platform, but if you don't have players, it doesn't matter at all. So I think that they were just trying to skip past the foundation building, and I think that they were getting a little sloppy with it, and we saw the outcome. You know, you need a hit song before you pump out an album. Yeah, that's probably a good way to put it. If you have a hit single, your album, the odds of your album doing well skyrocket. You know, maybe the better example is you need a hit song or a hit album before you set up a world tour. You know, they were trying to do a world tour when nobody had heard their name before and nobody had any idea who they were. And that doesn't work. You know, why aren't we selling out stadiums? What's wrong? We rented them out. What do you mean? Dude, we have fire effects. We've got so much.